welcome back to Knit the Books, our first episode of 2018. I'm Allie.
I'm Vicky.
And this is Murray.
And he's Murmur. He's come to visit Mamie. He's so excited. I told her it sounds like we got a heavy breather.
Yeah, he's acting very silly today for some reason. So, due to sickness and holidays and just not being able to schedule or get our schedules to mesh up, it's been a minute since we've got to see you guys or talk to you guys. So, sorry for that.
Ever.
November?
I know.
I don't think we did one in December. Honestly, can't remember.
I can't remember.
But we're here now.
Yes.
So
we're here now, and I hope everyone's well. It is Saturday, January the 6th, and the flu is alive and well in Tennessee. I'm sure it is other places too. And those of you that live in the Northeast and been having all that snow, blizzard storms, I hope you're all doing well, safe and warm. It's been cold for Tennessee this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been pretty cold.
I hate to complain when you got friends other places. It's 10 below. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't complain.
But cold is cold.
Cold is cold. And for us, 0 and wind chills around that is really cold. So I hope everyone had a good holiday. We did.
Yes, we did. And, luckily for us, we're knitters, so we can survive this cold weather.
We can.
Do you have any finished objects to show
off? I do. I have. This was for the Northbound Knitting Knit
Along. All over it. I'm so sorry.
I forgot what the pattern was.
Let's start this way. Decibel,
that's right. That you are very correct. I love it. It's gorgeous. That turquoise and that gray.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. I haven't blocked it yet. I meant to.
You haven't blocked it? It's so big.
It's so big, yeah. I meant to do it while I was off for Christmas, and my husband decided that the flu and pneumonia was what we needed, and to spend 3 days in the hospital. So I did knit a little, but yeah, that kind of.
He's all better though.
He just left from work. That's partly what's wrong with Murray. He cried after him.
I got a couple of things finished. This ended up being a gift for Mom, and when I got here, I was like, okay, I need that gift back. I finished.
It's so pretty.
The
priest.
High Priest of Rhythmic Noise.
Yes.
By Orange Jellyfish Dream. And this ended up pretty big too. The pattern, it has a small and a large, and I did somewhere in between just because I wanted to get it done in time. But it turned out so nice.
I love it.
It's blowing out on the camera. There we go. The gray is Northbound Knitting, I think Nocturnal. And then this beautiful tealy green is Northbound Knitting Flannel.
I love it. And
definitely Mom's colors, in case you couldn't tell by the last shawl she just showed. I love that pattern. I would totally knit another one.
I haven't ever knitted it, but I believe I will. There you go. Look there. It matches my shirt and everything. Mm-hmm. Crooked and all.
But the yarn's great. This was one of my Rip It or Whip It's. So I got another one done.
She didn't rip it. And
no, I knew I wanted to finish that one. And we had planned on like our first episode in January being us or going over our Rip It and Whip It again. But since we didn't get to record in December, we're going to wait probably till our first one in February.
I think that's a good goal.
So we're going to go through, and spoiler alert, I've already been ripping and getting rid of stuff. My queue, I halved my queue down. My Goodreads to be read list, I got rid of 100 books yesterday. I'm just getting rid of stuff. So it might be a good time for me to do that.
Well, yeah, it makes it easier when you're deciding what you want to read, or you're deciding what you want to knit when there's not such a huge amount to go through. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good idea. I think I need to go through my queue and even my favorites, because sometimes I quit queuing them and putting them over my favorites. And
did you finish anything else?
I did.
I see a couple things over there.
Yes, just shorty socks.
They're so pretty.
I love them. This is Dana's yarn. It's her Miss Island of Misfit Toys is the colorway, and it's her. I don't remember whether it's DK or Sport. Can you tell by feeling?
I can't.
It's one or the other. It's Unwind Yarn Company. Island of Misfit Toys is the colorway. And it's either her DK or her Sport, and I can't remember. And everybody loves them, and they are so warm.
Bye, Murray.
Bye, Murmur.
I bet. They feel very nice.
Thank you.
I finished Max's annual birthday hat. This is
So
the
pretty.
Fluid pattern by Karen McCall. This is the Fluid sock head, or Fluid sock beanie. I knit it out of mustache yarn in the Ray colorway. So it's a self-striping, so this is how it ended up. And Max loves it.
I love it. I love how that turquoise is all on one side, and the grayish is kind of more prevalent in the gold on this side.
I do too. I thought that was super neat. And I was like almost done before I even realized it was doing that, which was kind of sad. I realized, but I knit it exactly to pattern. I think I knit to 8 inches, and I think she says to knit to 8.5. So that's the only difference I did. But other than that, it's exactly to pattern. And I did a few more decreases on the top, just to get that count smaller. So those are the only modifications. I love that pattern. I'm going to knit me another one. It's Max's favorite pattern, so that's usually my go-to for him. I have a skein sitting aside for me to do mine, so hopefully I'll do one for me one day. But there's that.
I finished my big old huge Brave Heart too.
Out of this unknown.
Out of the unknown, Miss Babs Yowza.
Brave at Hearts by Lydia Brown.
I've already got, well, we'll see it in a minute, but I've already got a second one on the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the reason it is big is because I went up a needle, and for me that makes all the difference in the world. I'm kind of a tight needle, and I got that tip from someone. Said that they're a tight knitter, and they always go up a needle size from what the pattern calls for. So I actually really like doing that. So I love this one too. So
it's very
warm.
nice. We were having like a blue and green theme today.
Oh, you do.
That's all I have finished knitting
That's
wise.
all I have finished knitting wise too. But she's done some.
I did some Christmas sewing. I got the urge. Well, I made some mug rugs for my boss and our bookkeeper. I made them this little package that had a mug rug and and I knit 2 washcloths. The Mama's Choice,
something like
Mama's
that.
Favorite. I don't know what it's called. It's by Sarah Stevens. But I can't think of what it's actually called.
I don't remember either. But
that's a very good dishcloth pattern though. I knit 2 of those, and I'm sewed 2 mug rugs, and then I got 2 Scentsy car bar things, and I gave them candy, and I think something else. So I made them these little gift bags. But then when I sewed theirs, I was like, well, I'm going to sew some more. So I sewed like 8 of these, I think, and it ended up being total. I sewed 1 for me and Max, 1 for you, 1 for Max's mom, 1 for my niece, 1 for my grandmother. So I think that's 8 total, right?
You did 2 for Mama.
And I did 2 other ones.
Oh, okay.
For my grandmother that were more patchworky, but the other ones all looked like this, but different. The work ones had different. My boss and the bookkeeper ones had different fabric.
They're so cute.
I basically just kind of reverse engineered something I saw on Pinterest. It's not perfect, but I love it.
I love it.
And I love the elongated shape because, like, I use it because I don't really drink coffee. So, like, I'll put my mug of... What I used it for recently was I put my mug of milk here and my Oreos here. And that's how I ate my Oreos.
Well, that's a good idea.
But yeah, that was super
cute.
fun. And I sewed a bookmark for my sister. It ended up being super tiny because I forget to add extra.
But she loved it.
It still worked. So what have you been knitting on?
Well, this will probably be the only red hat I do, but
I need to cast mine on.
Here's a hat for Daniela, Caffeinated Crafting on the Instawebs. On her podcast, she's doing one. It's for
the Mended Little
Hearts.
We did it last year, so you guys might remember, but a lot of places are doing it this year where they're donating red hats in honor of... Heart defect. Yes, thank you.
But I need to finish that one. I'm on decreases, and I've been working on other things. I
bought red yarn for it. I just haven't cast on. So that's probably what I'll do tomorrow before I edit this podcast. That way, that's what I can knit on while
you're editing.
While I watch it and edit when I need to.
So if you're interested in making a red hat and getting it to Daniela, you can go over to Caffeinated Crafting on Ravelry and join her group and watch that podcast. There's information in there.
I haven't been knitting a whole lot, so I only brought a couple of projects that I know for certain I've added stuff to. This one I've actually cast on since I saw you guys. I was inspired by Robin Teeny Button, the Cherry Pearls podcast. She was knitting a pair of mittens out of handspun, and I was like, I haven't knit with handspun in forever, and I apparently can always. I apparently never think I want mittens until winter, and then I want mittens. So I cast on these out of my handspun. This is 2 If by Hand, the Shake, Rattle, and Roll colorway. This is probably my best spinning to date. And I'm super happy with how it's turning out.
Warm.
Can you hold this
I
pretty,
can.
please? It's not wanting to come out.
Thank
you.
Nice.
So it's purples and greens and a little bit of orange. I'm hoping I can fix this color a little bit when I'm editing. And then my stitch marker is Pinkie Pie. Mom got me.
Oh, it's so cute.
So little Pinkie Pie. The DPNs, these are the Harmony Wood needles from Knit Picks.
They're so pretty.
Mm-hmm. They actually have a blue set now.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like them things.
What?
DPNs make me
Oh, they
nervous.
haven't been fixed too.
Ooh.
And interchangeable. You actually bought me the interchangeable of these for Christmas a few years ago when I first started knitting. So these are the Waiting for Winter mittens by Susan B. Anderson. I always have to think. This is my favorite mitten pattern, definitely. So I have those.
I am working on Shine by Janina Collio.
Sure.
It's a diagonal scarf. And I'm in my first section of it. It's burgundy and green. It's really pretty yarn. And the yarn is by, would you hold that? Mm-hmm. The yarn is by AJHC Wools. It's her yak sock, and the colorway is Vertigo. It is 70% superwash merino wool, 20% yak, and 10% nylon. 435.
It's really pretty.
Isn't that pretty? Let me get the... There's the skein. It's gorgeous. And the scarf, and the reason I'm knitting this is my friend Jennifer at work, my knitting buddy, is knitting one out of Predator's colors. Mm-hmm. And so she was working on it, and I just fell in love with it. So I had to have a copycat, so I had to have me one. I have to turn the thing. Yeah, we got to turn. Oh, there it is. Kind of that way.
It's pretty.
It is pretty.
That'd be really pretty to wear.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other thing I'm going to show is my sweater. I've added a few more stripes to it.
Ooh, how pretty.
I don't think I moved my progress marker down after we talked last time. I can't remember. But here's the top part.
Oh, I love this turquoise.
And this is where my progress marker is, but I'm pretty sure we've talked.
I think you were there.
Since I'm pretty sure I was in this section, so that was my bad. So I'm now in the last gray and color section down here, and I'm going to try it on when I finish this part, but I'm pretty sure I can start the ribbing after I finish this.
Nice.
So,
doing so good.
I'll have it to wear eventually. But I'm loving it a whole lot. Super fun. And I think I figured out how I'm going to do my sleeves.
Cool.
I should have enough of the grays left over to stripe grays, and then I have a color I can put on at the end of that. So that's turning out great. This is the Granito by Hui Locatelli. Great, great, great pattern. It has pockets. I'm deciding to not do the pockets, and instead of the long sleeves, I'm just going to do probably 3/4 sleeves. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But other than that, I haven't modified it. Well, I added the stripes because hers wasn't striped. But
so, does this look familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is one of Allison's when we did the
Whip it
before. That socks that she had started from me a long time ago. So we ripped it, and I took them over. And I almost got my first sock done.
Well, she's a lot farther than I was.
This makes good work knitting. We got so tickled yesterday. We knitted in the cafeteria, and all these people, what are you doing? What are you doing?
They'll get used to it.
Yeah. And,
that's from Unwind Yarn Company. It's
but we don't know the...
It's more than words.
You don't have any more?
No, that's all I brought.
Okay. And then I've got...
Yeah, just show the bag. I just realized we haven't been showing our bags. So you have to show that one.
My Whimsy Stitches bag. I love the little knitting chickens. I love the inside look. It's so cute.
Adorable.
Love these bags.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my other bright heart.
Oh, pretty.
It's red and black. But actually, it looks kind of pink, but it's supposed to be red and black.
No, it's red. It looks red on camera.
And the colorway is Gotta Love Me.
By whom?
Miss Babs. This is another Wowza. Yowza
okay.
or whatever. Yowza. Wowza. Is it?
Yowza.
Yowza.
Yeah, Yowza.
It's so big. Look at that big ball.
That's really pretty.
I really love it. I wear a lot of black, gray, and red, so black and gray, so the red will kind of brighten it up a tad. So that's all my whoops.
Alrighty, so let's do Hats for Kiddos real quick. We started our 2018 Hats for Kiddos.
Mm-hmm.
The first prompt is up in the group. The prompt for January is to knit a hat that someone else knit last year. So you can go through any of the threads from January and October of 2017 and pick a hat. It can be a hat you've already knit, a hat you haven't knit. It doesn't matter. It just has to be a hat that someone else knitted last year. We're going to keep on with the same theme of there's a finished object thread. Marie's getting into something, sorry. There's a finished object thread, and whenever you finish your hat, just put a picture up in there, and we'll pick someone from that thread to win a pattern in January. And then when we podcast again, we'll go ahead and give you the February theme and get that up and ready. And there's the chatter thread for 2018, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to go there and ask. You can message me or Mom. All the prizes were shipped out except for 2. I never heard back from Tiffany Project Bag, and Avril, you didn't message me either, but I have your stuff ready, so just message me with your addresses. Actually, Avril, I have your address now, so never mind, because Mom just gave it to me, so never mind. So Tiffany, if you're watching this, just message me and we'll send that to you. But everyone else should have got your prize. If you didn't, please message us.
Please let us know.
Most of you, I've heard from a few of you that you got your prizes, so thank you for messaging us. It just makes me feel better to know that you guys got it and it didn't get lost in the mail or something. So, and you haven't received any returned or anything, right? Okay, so hopefully everyone got everything. So, so I guess let's go ahead and go into books.
All right.
And I've finished, I don't know how many since we last talked. I'm going to try and talk through mine quickly.
The only one I remember finishing you got there, so we'll talk about it together, okay?
So I'm just going to go through mine, just kind of do quick, if I liked it, if I didn't like it, just so, because if I don't, this will be very long. Because the last book I remember talking about was Rhett and Leke's book, A Mythicality, which I did enjoy. I don't remember saying I finished this one, but I finished We Could Be Beautiful by Swan Huntley. This was that thriller about Catherine, who is in her 40s, if I remember correctly, and she's super rich and has been her entire life, so she's super unrelatable for me, but she was super, super interesting. And she gets engaged to this guy that pops up out of nowhere who knew her family when he was younger. She doesn't remember him. And it's a mystery of trying to figure out, like, how much is he telling us the truth? Like, is he, does he know more or anything like that? So, this one was really, really good. I really enjoyed this one. I'm going to leave that here for you.
Wonderful.
I also finished listening to Every Last Lie by Mary Kubeka. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She is one for me that I will read or listen to every book she does. I don't love every book she does, but I enjoy them and think that they can be good. I gave that one 3 stars, and I said it was more close to the 2.5, honestly. It was my least favorite of her books. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't read it that long ago, and I don't remember anything about it. This is about a lady named Clara, whose husband and their 4-year-old daughter, they are in a car crash, and her husband is killed instantly while the daughter survives. and the daughter is telling her mom things about the wreck, or like, oh, a bad man was following us and stuff like that. So it's Clara's trying to figure out like if it was an accident, if someone purposely killed him, things like that. I wanted to like it more because the story was interesting, and I do think Mary Kubeka, I think she is a really good writer, and I think she has good ideas, but her stories just aren't, I don't know, they're not great to me. She also wrote The Good Girl, which I really, really liked, Pretty Baby, which I liked, and Don't You Cry, which I liked. So this was my least favorite. I still think it was a good listen. The other ones I would choose over. Like, if you wanted to pick one to read from her, I would suggest either The Good Girl or... I would suggest The Good Girl, honestly, because apparently I only gave Don't You Cry 2 stars. I liked that one better than that. I must have been mad at the ending or something when I reviewed that one, but I remember liking that one better than that, so... But anyway.
I have read books that I've enjoyed all the way through, and then when you get to the ending, it's like, well, that just really sucks. So
I know. I'm trying to not review immediately after finishing a book, because sometimes I'm a little harsh on it. I've also listened to A Sick Life, TLC and Me, Stories from On and Off the Stage by T.on.T. Boz Watkins. I won this from Library Thing for review. I haven't got to sit down and review it yet, but that's what I'm going to do probably tomorrow. I loved TLC as a kid. I loved them so much. And when I saw this on there, I was like, oh, I totally want to listen to that. It's good. I think I gave it 4 stars. I love memoirs. I love celebrity memoirs. This one was really good. And I suggest listening to it because she has 2 songs. I think 2 songs. It might have been 3 songs. But 2 songs I remember being on here. So that was really cool. And she talks a lot about TLC, but she also has sickle cell anemia. So it's her talking about her discovering that because she didn't learn she had that till her late 20s, because you know, I mean, they didn't know much about it when she was younger,
right?
So they didn't really know to diagnose that. So it was a lot of her learning about her. Maybe it wasn't sickle cell anemia. She has sickle cell something. Maybe it's not anemia. Maybe that's the one she doesn't have. But anyway, she has sickle cell disease. But it was really good. If you are a TLC fan, I highly recommend it. If you just like celebrity memoirs, I highly recommend it. And like I said, I would listen to it. Now, she does read it, and the thing with celebrity memoirs is they're not professional audiobook narrators, so sometimes it's not great. Sometimes her pauses are weird, sometimes her inflections are off, you know what I mean? Like little things like that. So if that bothers you, this might bother you. It didn't bother me. I like them telling me their stories, so that was another one I really liked. Just a couple more. I finished listening to I'm Just a Person by Tig Notaro. I love Tig Notaro. I have been putting off listening to that book because I knew that was about at the time when she, like within the same year, her mother died. She found out she had cancer, like all this stuff. And I knew that was all about that. And I was like, I don't know if I can handle that. And it is super sad, but it is one of the best memoirs I've listened to. It is so just raw and beautiful and just really, really well done.
Is that on her Audible?
I also listened to Keep Moving and Other Tips About Old Age by Dick Van Dyke, which is probably a weird thing for me to listen to, but I love Dick Van Dyke, and I got it for a really good deal on Audible, and so I thought I'd listen to it. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was good, and I love Dick Van Dyke, like I said, and you know, he narrated it, and it was really interesting. But I mean, for me, it wasn't applicable, like a lot of the advice, but he did have personal stories like strewn in, so I think I would have enjoyed like his regular memoir better. And I think I have that on my Kindle, so that I need to read that one next.
You have been a reading machine.
Well, I was trying to get to my Goodreads.
Did you make it?
I was too behind, but it wasn't worth it to rush through.
Over, no,
especially since I got.
So how many did you do then?
33.
That's good, still.
Yeah. I was trying to finish them with Audible books, but I just burned myself out on them. So, I also listened to No One Knows by J.T. Ellison, which you listened to. I gave it 2 stars. I wanted to like it more than I did, but it just wasn't for me. But I am going to check out the other one that you have. Lie to Me, I think is what it's called.
I think so.
Something like that. but it's on her mom's Audible, so I'm gonna listen to that one next. I did like that it was based in Nashville, and I knew where they were talking about. I thought that was cool.
Isn't that cool?
But I really, really liked parts of it. I feel like it needed a couple of characters needed to be deleted or something. Personally, I just felt like it was just one too many, and then the final twist, I didn't like it. I thought it was a twist just for a twist sake, but. Oh, and then I also read Big Little Lies by Leanne Mortuary. I don't know what her name is. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So I watched the series early 2017, and I really liked it. And then I found the book at Dollar General for $4, right after I watched the series. But I didn't want to read it yet because I just watched the show. And then I wanted another quick read before the end of the year. So I picked that one up, and it took me most of December to read just because I just picked it up every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked it, actually. I thought it was really good.
I liked it.
From what I remember from the series, it's pretty
on.
It's pretty spot on. So it's a pretty good adaptation of the book.
And for those of you that liked the series, I think they're going to keep that up if I
Yeah, they got approved for a second season. I don't know what it's going to be about. But
I think I read somewhere that it's going to go more in depth into the characters or something. So,
but I really like that one. I don't know if I want to read other books from her, but I think you have a couple on Audible.
I do, and I'm having a hard time. I think I enjoyed this one so much that I'm having a hard time with that other one. But maybe some space between them, maybe I'll like it a little better.
Okay. So I might try out other things by her, but I just really liked those characters. And honestly, I think if it wasn't for the series, I don't think I would have checked out the book.
Oh, okay.
So,
I love the series. Actually, Brooke got me the movie for Christmas.
And then the last one I finished, this is my first finished book of 2018. I finished it on the second day. This is the one you were going to talk about. So I'll shut up for a second. But it's Final Girls by Riley Sager.
I really liked it. It's about... there were 3 girls, and they were survivors of a mass murder. And
the final girls, that's a reference to in horror movies when a girl survives, she's the final girl. So that's what the reference is to.
Oh, okay. I liked it.
I really, really liked it. This is a pseudonym by someone who is already an author. Mm-hmm. So
that might be the first book by them. Is it the first? Maybe not.
It's the first book by this name, but this person's already an author.
Right.
So there's this one, and another one I read last year was the same thing, and I'm just like, why? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm sorry. Why don't you want it to be your real name? I understand, if you haven't published before and having a pseudonym, but I don't get it. In this day and age, having a pseudonym. I also get it, when the Bronte sisters or whoever, publish their stuff under men's names. I get that. I just don't get this. So, I'm curious who it is. And
so, did you like it?
I really liked it. I gave this 4 stars.
I really liked it. The end twist really surprised me. Mm-hmm. And kind of...
I don't like the final twist.
I don't
That's
either.
What I'm going to say. That's all I can say without giving anything away.
I don't like that character is
turned out to be who that character is.
Yeah,
that's the best way we can say it without giving anything away. I didn't find that believable personally. It goes back to I was saying with the no one knows. I felt like it was another twist for the sake of a twist. I feel like I kind of and there's parts of me that's well, I get why she did that or he did that. I'm not sure if Riley's supposed to be male or female, so
doesn't give a lot of information about Riley either, does it?
No, and it doesn't say he or she or anything, so maybe that's the point. But I really liked it. Thought it was a good read. Thought it was a quick read. I mean, I read it in about 4 days.
Well,
so.
It took me forever, but life got in the way, and I'd lay it down. And then
you were working on your master's.
I know what I was.
I feel like you're allowed.
I'm getting ready to take a break for a semester break.
Are you?
Yes. There may be a change coming in my life.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Anyway.
So more on that next month.
This was the last one that I finished reading. Mm-hmm. Do you have any?
No, that's the last one I finished.
So what are you reading?
I'm in Outlander World again.
Okay.
And I am listening to The Fiery Cross and all total together, it's 55 hours. So I was listening to it before the break, and then I didn't listen much the week we were off. And I listened a little bit while Scott was in the hospital, and then, of course, I've been back to work this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I've been listening. So it's really, really good. I love that series. But I guess there's a lot of Outlander fans out there. And then that J.T. Ellison had one. It's on my... I bought it. It's going to be my next one. It was one of the Marcy. Is that her name? Marcy. The email we get.
Oh, the Modern Mrs. Darcy.
Yes, Modern Mrs. Darcy had it on there the other day.
She sends out daily Kindle deals.
Mm-hmm. And she has some great ones. There's been some great books on there this time here lately. It's A Deeper Darkness. It's another one that's set in Nashville. And it's actually when it flooded.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. So that one should be really good too. And I'm also bought another one that she was talking about that I've got a page or two going on. It's called Almost Sisters.
I've heard of that one.
That's my plans.
I've been listening to Tom Hanks' uncommon type short stories, or some stories. They're a bunch of short stories together, and I started it, and that's what killed my Audible mojo. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm super excited about it because I love Tom Hanks. I love that he wrote a book. And I love that he narrates the book, but I'm not a fan of short stories, and I know that about myself. So, it starts off, and I didn't like the first one. I don't think I liked the second one either. The third one I remember liking. But Mom and I were talking about it. We went and got dinner, I think, is when we talked about it. And I think what I'm going to do is, instead of trying to listen to all the stories at once, is in between Audible books, listen to one of the short stories. So I am going to take a break from it and decide which book I want to listen to now. I'm kind of back into podcast land because I subscribed and started listening to True Crime Obsessed. And I really, really like that, and I want to get caught up on that. So once I'm caught up on that, I'll pick another Audible book. But the other book I'm reading is The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. She is a knitter. And you guys might have seen this on Instagram because Quince & Co. sent out yarn that matches the cover to a bunch of designers. And they're collaborating. And they all got a copy of the book. And they're collaborating and they're going to design something inspired by the book.
Oh, awesome.
She's going to be talking in Nashville on the 20th. And I told Mom she's going with me because I really want to go. So we're going to go to that. Very, very excited. I won this from Goodreads, I think last November. And then I've been meaning to start it. I just never got around to it. So I've started it. I've read the prologue. And then I put it aside because, well, let me tell you what it's about. If you knew the date of your death, how would you live your life? It's 1969 in New York City's Lower East Side, and word has spread of the arrival of a traveling psychic who claims to be able to tell anyone the day they will die. The Gold Children, four adolescents on the cusp of self-awareness, sneak out to hear their fortunes. Their prophecies inform their next 5 decades. Golden boy Simon escapes to the West Coast, searching for love in 1980s San Francisco. Dreamy Claire becomes a Las Vegas magician, obsessed with blurring reality and fantasy. Eldest son Daniel seeks security as an army doctor post 9/11, hoping to control fate. And bookish Vera throws herself into longevity research, where she tests the boundary between science and immortality. A sweeping novel of remarkable ambition and depth, The Mortalist probes the line between destiny and choice, reality and illusion, this world and the next. It is a deeply moving testament to the power of story, the nature of belief, and the unrelenting pull of familial bounds. This goes on sale January 9th, so this upcoming Tuesday. Like I said, I've only read the prologue, and I can go ahead and tell you, go get it. If that sounds interesting to you at all, go get it. The writing's beautiful. I can't wait to just sit down and just completely immerse myself in it, and that's the only reason I haven't finished, because it's broken up into, from what I can tell, it's broken up into the different children. So, Simon has his section, and then the other kid has her section. And it just goes back. I think it's it's 4 parts after that, from what I can tell, and each part is the other child. And I just don't. I want to start it whenever I can sit down and read that entire part, basically. So yeah, I'm super, super excited. I'm really, really enjoying it so far, and I think the concept's really good. The reviews on it are great, and the cover's beautiful. Not that that really matters, but I do.
I love the cover. I love the colors.
A good cover will suck me in, so.
It's fall trees.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty.
But that's what I'm concentrating on.
And these
right
little bits make it look like it's got little stones, diamonds, or something.
Yeah, it's really pretty. Well, we wanted to do kind of what the theme or whatever this episode would be about was our 2018 goals.
Mm-hmm. Allison probably was really good and wrote hers down.
Yep.
I'm not as good as that. But I know what I want to do off the top of my head.
So the way the way I broke mine up were into different sections. So I have like a book, knitting, spinning, etc. So for books, what are your plans this year?
I want to finish the Outlander series.
That'll take you all year. So
probably going to take me all year. So there we go. And then I want to read things that I think I'd enjoy. Not just for the sake of reading. I want to find things that I really would enjoy while I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. So if I don't like it, I'm going to put it away and find something that I do.
So not forcing yourself
not
to read
forcing myself to read a book. I just want to read to enjoy it.
I get that. I mean, there's so many books out there, and not just but all our time is limited, and why waste it on a bad book?
Right.
I need to get better at that, especially like if I'm reviewing a book. Like I want to finish it for some reason, but yeah, I need to get better about that. Do you have any other book goals?
No.
All right, so my goals for my books for 2018 is I want to read 40 books. Every year I just keep adding 5, even though I didn't get to 35 in 2017. I was close, so I just decided to go ahead and push it to 40. I want to catch up on all my advanced copy books that I got last year. Most of them are honestly out now, but, I want to get them done and review them because I did get them. And, I went through them the other day just to make sure I had the list correct. And they all still sound good, so that's a biggie for me. And then I want to get more consistent with my reviews and then blog more consistently, with my goal being 3 times a week for my book blog, which I did do 3 posts this past week.
You did.
So, starting off good. Hopefully we'll continue.
Starting off with good momentum.
Do you have any knitting goals?
Scott and I have been talking about this some this week too, and Jennifer and I talked about it at work. I have a pretty good stash. I'm going to try to shop from my stash as much as I can. There'll be this SSK in the summer. I'm sure I'll buy there. And then in Murfreesboro in the fall. And at Into the Wool if I get into the retreat. So I'm going to save, not just buy when I see, so that's pretty.
So more buying in person.
More buying in person.
Less buying online.
Less buying online. And some of that stuff that I saw and bought last year that I wanted to knit certain things into, I'm actually going to work on those this time. I'm going to try to get, of course, we're going to do our whips and rips, which is a good thing because I really want to get those off and go on with life.
And I think, I want to keep doing that. I think every 6 months where we just go through all our whips and do that, like that bonus episode, and then decide if we're going to keep it or if it's going to go.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to doing that again. For me, for knitting, I want to knit 6 items with hand spun, and I know I started it in 2017, but I'm totally going to count those mittens.
Oh, I would too.
I want to knit 20 hats for kiddos, and I want to knit 2 sweaters. So finish the one I have, and then knit another one.
And I want to learn some stitches. There is one of the kids' hat is like that basket weave thing. I want to do one of those.
Oh, that's easy.
And Jennifer started a hat or a cowl. She brought 3 or 4 things to show me yesterday. One, it's either a hat or a cowl, and it's brioche. I want to learn how to do that too.
I haven't tried brioche. It doesn't interest me, so I can't help you.
Oh, okay.
But Suzanne has
It's Suzanne that brioches, because I thought you had done it. So.
Nope, it doesn't interest me.
So, okay. But I do. There's, a few things I want to learn, so.
And then I didn't write down my spinning goals. Oh, when I wrote this down, I hadn't figured out I figured out how I can spin comfortably without it hurting my back. So I'm still just slowly doing it, but I had figured out a way for me to spin. So I do want to spin, I think what I decided was 24 ounces. And since most braids equal about 4 ounces, so roughly 6 braids out of my stash. And I'm doing it by ounces because I have some hobbledehoy, so that would be 2 ounces of batlings. And then I also have something that I got from Smoky Mountain Spinnery, I think is that what it's called? And it was like 8 ounces. So if I spin that one, it's more. So I thought judging it by ounces instead of braids would be better. So I want to spend 24 ounces this year.
Well, actually, Allison and I did for one of my graduate classes. It's an adult education
we
class.
talked about it on here.
We talked about it, and
and I'm going to interrupt real quick. I forgot to bring the blanket. It's not completely done. I still need to do the binding and the quilting, but I did finish my blanket aside from.
And I finished my spinning. I did all of what's it called when it's in a thing. It's not a bat. It's not a roving. It's just
a braid.
Yes, I guess. Anyway, I finished all that, and I think I had bought some and won some it into the wool. So I think I'm gonna get my little spindle out, and I think I'm gonna give it another go around. I missed.
You should.
It's a good sit thing.
A lot of people are doing 15 minutes a day. And that's what I told you when you were learning, like to spend 15 minutes a day.
So I'm a little late in the year getting started, but I'm going to get my stuff down to, I think, tomorrow. That's actually one of my things.
Cool.
Because I did enjoy it. And I'd love to get good at it because you can take a spinner with you everywhere you go.
Exactly. And then for weaving, I want to weave... I've just put down a scarf for Max. I want to learn, and I want to do dish towels. Because I bought stuff for dish towels and I just haven't done it yet. So basically, I just want to weave more. But I hate setting it up. Once I get it set up, I'm good. It's just that, like, I've been putting it off because one of my a colleague, she wants a scarf because she saw one that I wove and had taken pictures of, and I have the yarn, and I just need to do the setup, and I just been putting it off. But there's been sickness in the house, so I wouldn't really feel comfortable weaving it anyway with sick around me. So I'm kind of glad I put it off, but I need to do it soon, so I get that to her.
I really like that. I can't decide. That might be something I might try later in the years to get the one like you all got.
And then I want to keep working on my sewing. I want to sew a quilt for our bed, and I want to figure out how to sew weighted blankets, and then I have an idea for some sensory blankets for work, so I want to do at least the prototype, if you will, for that, and see what I need to do for changes. And then the big one for me, I wasn't really going to talk about it, but I'll talk about it. I want to vend at a craft show, and we have in the fall, we have one here that's called Fall Fun Fest, and so it would be in town, so I want to
get some things ready to vend.
Yeah, so I want to, like, just knit some hats, and that's why I started that Etsy shop, was just so I could have, so it would look like, you know, I've been around for a while, and it wasn't just like, here I exist. But, you know, just some hats, and, you know, if I get better with my sewing, I'd like to do some sewing, and just, like, I have a game plan for that, so, but yeah, I just want to do that, just so I can be like, I vended a craft fair one year. So that's one that I want to do. It's not like, I'm not expecting to make money off of it. It's just one of those things where I want to be like, I did that. So.
Awesome. Got lots of good goals there, girlie.
Yeah, probably too many, but that's what I like to do.
You know,
be very, very...
After you get so far in the year, you can look at them and...
Well, and I'm one of those
readjust.
people, too, though. Like, if at the end of the year, if I'm looking at it, I'm not mad at myself that I didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm realistic, so... But I feel like those are good ways to, especially with the knitting, not the knitting, the sewing and the weaving, that's just a good way for me to get more practice in and make sure, like, those projects that I want to get done are getting done. And then I'm super excited to get some of my spinning woven up, or spinning spun up, because, you know, I've had that stuff in my stash for a while, and I don't want anything to happen to it, so... And then I don't really use my hand spun, so I want to make sure I'm using that more. So I feel like they're good, realistic goals.
Yes,
so.
Sounds good.
So what goals do you guys have for 2018? Do you make goals? Or are you just, do you not want the pressure? Do you, like, what do you do? Do you have any reading goals or knitting goals or any other kind of goals that you want to talk about? We'll have our thread for this episode up in the group, and feel free to
share with us
what you guys have planned and all that good stuff.
We'll be there to encourage, and that's the goal of mine too, is to be more present in the group.
I think that's a good one.
I haven't been being present like I should, so that's one of mine.
That's okay. We all get busy. So, and you had a very busy
Well,
last semester, so.
For myself, I didn't do a resolution. There's lots of things I need to work on for Vicky, but I'm going to try to live this year by being my best yes, and not saying yes and half doing it. I want it to be my best yes, or it's just gonna be a no.
I like that. And then one thing too that I know, like for me, like I'm wanting to do more and buy less.
Yes.
That's kind of like my big one that's like for me this year. So like wanting to go experience stuff more instead of just bringing more stuff in the house. So that's the plan.
I know as I get older, it's not what I can have and not what I can bring in. It's mostly about time. And time enjoying my family and my mama, my friends. My mama will be 85 in March. So, it's time's precious.
So, yeah.
As I say in those meetings that we go sit through, well, that's an hour and a half of my life I'm never going to get back.
Yeah,
you just have to do them.
Those meetings are the worst. Thank you guys for joining us for our first episode of 2018. Hopefully, and I think Mom can agree with this, another goal is to try and be more consistent.
Be more consistent.
Trying to stick to that every 2 weeks thing. It's hard, especially since in 2 weeks from now we're going to be in Nashville.
Yes.
So we'll have to figure something out there.
Well, maybe the thing will work in the car.
No, we are never trying that again.
It was so funny.
I am never doing that again.
It was so frustrating. We put the thing on the window and it go, whoop, and we go up. So yeah.
And I just haven't been happy with the first one was fine, but the second one, like I wasn't happy with the episode. So
yeah,
I just don't want to do that again. So we'll have to either record early or maybe the last week of January we can. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, so we're going to try and do every 2 weeks. This one might be instead of the 20th, the 27th.
It might be, but we'll be able to talk about our trip.
Yeah. So the next one might be 3 weeks out, but we're going to try, aside from that, as often as we can, stick to the 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Or at least just, we'll do our best. We know that you guys are understanding, but it helps me and Mom too, I think, just to be consistent and to keep up that routine. I'm a very routine-driven person, and when my routine gets messed up or my plans get messed up, it can stress me out. And trying to not stress as much as we can. So
enjoy life.
Yes. So we will see you guys in probably 3 weeks.
Probably, because if we're going to go to that book thing, let's just...
Yeah, so probably 3 weeks. So we will talk to you guys then.
Bye. Have a good week.